3-step lower back rebuild, starting with the short range, 0 to 60 degrees. Let's see what I mean. So even if I add weight to this, down in here, this is just to relax, get a full range, but this is not the tough part down in here. Getting up through it, holding those glutes squeezed, this up in that top range, starting about right here, and then getting through it. Like if you did a set to failure, you would eventually hit the inability to fully squeeze those glutes. And this is literally how I progress it, by actually using these bars. So my dad started right here and then just gradually built until he could go down, but then come up unassisted. Alyssa's pregnant right now, and she's doing the same thing. She has the belly, so she's just using this exercise to work this range. Now we're starting from a 90-degree bend. When we hit about 120, there starts being tension, and we're working all the way to 180. For males, if your bench has a space here, you'll probably be more comfortable. Plus, you could just sit at the end of the bench. That strength and mobility now affects every movement you do with your back, meaning the stiffer and weaker you are here, the more you mess with your back in the first place. And it starts super gently because you could use as light of dumbbells as you want. It stops you short, so you don't actually go too deep. And with dumbbells, if it's too heavy, you just let them down rather than having a bar on your back. And what we've been finding lately is you can actually use an incline bench to measure how much mobility you do have without rounding your back. So you could stop yourself short and work insanely safely and effectively like this. The way I train the mid-range would start with just as light of dumbbells as you need, having your knees behind your toes and going into as deep of a stretch as you can without rounding the back. Now, at my current level, I'm elevating as high as I can without risk of hitting my foot. I'm using straps because my target on this is my hamstrings and my back, not my grip. Now, before I lift and try to stand up with it, I actually want to reach my knees behind my toes and flatten my back to have that hamstring stretch. Now we're in about 120 degrees, and then by the time we get to like 60, it's already easy from there. So here's not the target area. Here's not where the load is. Boom, from about 60 to 120. This, I don't think is essential, but I do think it adds another layer of bulletproofing. So I think of it in this order of safety and progression, and wherever your weakest link is, maybe where you have the most room to increase your bulletproofing reserve. So if we put these 3 zones together, we can train the full range. To be clear, this is just direct lower back loading. Other factors that many of us might want would be lengthened hip flexors. Can you cover your front hamstrings over your calves without your back knee touching the floor and without having to turn your toes to get there? Or what about the thoracic spine, that middle part of the spine? Can we do a bridge like we could when we were kids? So don't see life through a straw. We have many different areas of room to improve our bulletproofing reserve and at least live better than the norm is expected of us right now.